Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Please abiding by the AFTERBIRTH. Reunited and it feels so good. I don't think I've ever seen, obviously I've never seen this one save file to go thing before. That is fantastic news. Let's have a little victory lap here. 1994Z26X with missing no. So essentially anything that I could say about this run is rendered immediately irrelevant based on the fact that every single floor, our whole run is going to be re-rolled. So what do we look for in a situation like this? You might think it's like looking for a dark cloud with a silver lining. Not the case, you know? Missing no. I already try to adhere to the IAA certified missing no protocol for using the D4 and or D100, which is you know, reroll once per floor. Because if you reroll more than once per floor, it's a dangerous situation. Just looking at Discord here, because it had like a red circle, and I was like, does red circle mean I'm in a call right now? I hope not. Who knows, I might say something I regret in this video and have to scrap it, so, you know, we never see it again. Probably not, though. I've never scrapped a video because of saying something offensive accidentally, but I have scrapped a video because of playing offensively badly. That happens about once a month, I'd say, on average. There's like 12 lost episodes of Isaac annually, which I have to point out, I think is pretty good. That's like a 97% success rate once I hit that record button. I mean, you could say why not 100%? There's some validity to that, but it might even be like once every other month. It's a rarity, dude. I got my workflow, fortunately or unfortunately, is down to a science. Now, it leads to some situations like literally never editing at all costs, but I digress. I like to think the juice is worth the squeeze, or the squeeze is worth the juice you get at the end. Which is literally just two ways of saying the exact same thing. But we're getting inside baseball here. The inside baseball doesn't matter. And there's no way to pivot from that, because I was going to be like, baseball season just started, but you know what? I feel bad, because the running joke for like, well, let's see what we get. Luck, please. Luck be a lady tonight. You know what we're going to try to do is get a bomb, go to a secret room, second secret room, I should say, and then use slot machine to get a bunch more spirit hearts, because those roll over for us. The ongoing joke for so long has been like, oh, baseball is so boring. And believe you me, I agree with that statement. We didn't have like a hardball league in my town when I grew up, small town. We had a softball league, and I played softball. I don't think we want to buy anything. Let's just get out of here. We could buy a bomb and then go to a second secret room and use slot machine twice. I don't think it's a good use of our investment here. Yeah, I played softball from 1st grade to 9th grade. That's like 9 summers of softball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I hated it by the end of it. Like, my heart was not in baseball by the time I finished off. That being said, you know, if you like watching baseball, I'm sorry, okay? Because I've made that joke in the past. And as a fan of a sport that is made fun of, ice hockey, I apologize. You know, it's not fair. Us maligned sports need to band together. Now, mind you, baseball is also absurdly popular, so it's not like you need my support, but if you're ever looking for an ally, meet me in the middle, okay? Because the NHL and the MLB, we can be friends. Right now, it's hockey and soccer in North America. Like, we're the two sports that, you know, we tend to, the seasons don't overlap, and everybody laughs at us, and they make fun of our sports for things that don't make sense. Like, in soccer, it's always like, how can you call it a sport if there's a draw? What are you talking about? Every other league on planet Earth has draws. It's just like, for some reason in North America, they think a draw, and I'm selling out my own people here, but they think a draw is like less satisfying than 2 losses being given out. I don't understand it. What's wrong with the draw? It means you both played at roughly the same level, you're rewarded in the same way. Instead, now the way the NHL works is like, well, oh, you tied at the end of regulation, so now you go to a 5-minute overtime, and if you lose there, you still get half of the points that you get for a win. Yeah, that makes... You want to talk about participation trophies? How about getting a point for losing a game? It wasn't the millennials that voted on that rule. It was like 78-year-old team owners. So, the D4 I gotta give a little lecture here, okay? There's a little over Zane on this run. Super Zane, if you will. And I'm pro the Zane, but the D4, I think, you know, I'm handing down my Supreme Court decision here. I'm not going to take the D4 because we already have Missing No. It's going to accelerate our risk of getting breakfasted. It's going to minimize our ability to take a zany spacebar item, or a spacebar item that, even if not zany, at least accomplishes something for us. And beyond all this, we had the D4 recently. So with all those factors considered in aggregate, I'm going to say no and abstain from the D4, barring some unforeseeable circumstance right here. You know, I'm not making fun of any other sport, except for things that they deserve. Baseball is long and slow. If you like it long and slow, more power to you. Football is the most popular sport in the United States of America by far. And I'm talking about American football, not association football. This, no joke, if you watch a football game, it's like 3 hours front to back. And there's only 60 minutes of gameplay. You're getting 2 hours, essentially, of commercials. It's at least 50-50, because there's analysis and setup between plays and stuff like that is technically part of the game. But you're getting, like, 50% commercials. It's ridiculous. I understand it's a national tradition and pastime. I'm just saying, like, that's absurd. We might have an arcade on this floor. I think it's worth exploring. It's IAA certified. Well, we better hope there's an arcade on this floor. You know what? It doesn't matter, because now that I think about it, we're going to lose KB and Conception anyway, so don't get too attached. Soccer is also slow, but the thing I think people don't understand about soccer, if you don't watch it, maybe only watch it during the World Cup, you forget in between 4 years, you're missing out. I sincerely believe you're missing out, because soccer is actually like the fastest sport in the world. It's 2 45-minute halves with like maybe 2 extra minutes for injury time. It's a 2-hour sport. You don't get a lot of sports that end in 2 hours. Hockey's usually 2.5. Basketball, I don't even know. Sometimes the games are 2 hours long. Sometimes they get into this, like, technical foul stuff towards the end that, you know, takes an hour just to accomplish by itself. And I'm not insulting basketball. What's the insult for basketball? The insult for basketball is that in a lot of games, you really only need to tune in the final 5 minutes, because, you know, the average basketball game ends like, you know, 110 to 104 or something like that. So you really, you know, the first couple of quarters not always relevant. These are ignorant assumptions, but what do people say about hockey? I don't even know. It's boring. I don't understand. Maybe it's because I grew up with it. I'm just trying to reflect it back. Anyway, moreover, this is a lot of sports talk. I digress, but this is just for all you soccer fans out there. I want you to know there's support for you in North America. The MLS is rising. Now, if you want us to be kindred spirits, please stop making fun of the fact that the level of play in the MLS is worse than it is in most of the European leagues, okay? I get it. Yes, we take your retirees, okay? We don't have as strong of a soccer culture here, but we're working on it. I'm tempted to get into soccer. But the other thing is, when we call it soccer, don't get mad at us, because, like, that's what it's called. We already have a football, okay? By the time it made it over here, I'm not saying you should stop calling it football. I'm merely suggesting that we can agree to disagree on this one. Dude, this room is terrible. Well, it's really the reroll is bad. These are good stats for a run that's just starting, but not great stats for a run that's on the 3rd floor here. I'm considering, like, I'm not getting in on the ground floor when it comes to soccer in Vancouver, but the Whitecaps, our local MLS team, are good. Maybe even great this year. We'll see. And tickets to go see the games are insanely cheap when you compare them to the Vancouver Canucks, our local NHL team. And I gotta be honest, I'm a diehard Canucks fan. Still mourning the loss of the Sedins over here. But a lot of the time you pay, like, you know, 70, 80, 90 bucks to go see a Canucks game. You leave being like, I don't know if that was really a great use of company funds. So to go see the Whitecaps, and for like 40 bucks, they'll give you 2 tickets and a scarf. I'm like, that's a great deal. That's a smoking price to see the top level of association football in North America. But anyway, I digress. Plus, the off-season, or the season completely coincides with the NHL off-season. Anyway, you're not listening. You're like, talk about groceries. Okay, maybe I'll talk about groceries. I don't know. I don't have any grocery stories. I'm sorry to tell you, dude. Well, that's not completely true. Hey, it's fake missing, no. You ever feel like... Yeah, I had a feeling we were gonna get hit there. You ever feel like the media lied to you when you were a kid about vegetables? I know you thought I was gonna get extremely woke there, but nah, it's about vegetables. When I grew up, if you asked me like what were the most disgusting vegetables, before I'd even consume them regularly, what am I gonna say to you? Broccoli, 100%. That's the if this was Family Feud, it's a name of vegetable kids don't like to eat. Bing, number one, broccoli. I'm gonna level with you. Brown nugget, it's got something. But I think... Ooh, I like that a lot, too. I think we're better off actually trying to get in a second secret room now that we got some money. Number two, probably like Brussels sprouts, honestly. We were lied to. If you've been holding on to that assumption since you were a little kid that broccoli and Brussels sprouts are bad, I don't know what happened. It's like, I almost, and I'm only being like 50% facetious. I feel like that was like a lie perpetuated by the carrot industry. It was like a propaganda campaign that was like, hey, let's pay Hollywood filmmakers to put kids in their movie who say broccoli is disgusting and the parents, you know, can't get their kids to eat it. They undermined the broccoli agencies of the North America and perhaps even the world. Broccoli and Brussels sprouts are like the best, well, I mean, potatoes exist, but like, they're the best vegetables. I was reminded again last night because, you know, we were cooking, well, when we were at the grocery store, we were like, oh, we have this chicken, what should we make with it? Kate's like, why don't we get some Brussels sprouts? And I was, in my head, the first thing I thought of was like, ew. And then I remembered, they're like my favorite vegetable. The media has not lost its hold on me yet. You just bake them up, little salt and pepper. They're like little, like it's eating a whole head of cabbage in a single bite, but in a good way. I also like cabbage though, so your mileage may vary there. I just feel like people didn't know how to cook. Not people, but like people where I live, and I'm basically talking about North America, didn't really figure out how to cook properly until like 1990. You look at like old recipe books, there's some good stuff, you know, there's like, you know, how to cook like an incredible chicken pot pie, you know, how to cook tourtière in Canada. And there's also stuff like bananas hollandaise. Egg whites and bananas served with ham on top of it. And you're like, nah, I don't, that's poison. You are trying to poison me, and I don't accept what you're doing. I feel like there was a culinary revolution in like 1990. People were like, wait a minute. You mean we don't have to literally boil every vegetable until it becomes like a slurry? That's the problem, you know, if you boil a Brussels, you can have good boiled Brussels sprouts, but boiled Brussels sprouts, boiled broccoli, boiled cabbage, turns like, it creates steam, and then the steam picks up the fart particles in the vegetable, and then it makes your whole kitchen smell like farts. And no kid is gonna wanna eat vegetables when their kitchen smells like farts, okay? That's step one. What do you do instead? Well, you bake it, or you steam it, in broccoli's case, and then you get some good stuff. Seriously, if you... Don't let people feel superior to you just because they eat broccoli. What you should do is eat broccoli. Broccoli is a delicious tasting vegetable. There's vegetables I do not like. I don't like beets. I like borscht. I don't like beets. I think beets taste like actual dirt. The taste of a beet is roughly the same as a taste of dirt to me. Please walk into me so that I may kill you easily and get a demon heart out of the situation. Thank you so much. Okay, let's do it again. Works for me. Yeah, one more time. Why not? Broccoli does not fit into that camp in my world. Hey, hit me, please. I know this is like a relatively bad form, but I'm just looking for the reroll for missing no anyway, in all honesty. I also know that we said we were going to look for a second secret room, but we're going to do it on the next floor because we're bomb poor, and we were on an XL floor there, which is a little bit more difficult to find where you want to go. This is pretty good now. We have the Pact. Why is our damage still so bad when we have the Pact? Packed plus pencil, though, is pretty solid. Anyway. A lot of vegetables get a bad rap. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to force you down any road yourself. I'm just saying keep an open mind, okay? Kale's another one. I don't know. There's like... I'm probably getting a little bit too deep state about it, but... I've never... Well, that's probably not true, but I've rarely seen the kind of backlash to a food as I've seen the rise of kale over like the past 5 years. And I almost wonder if someone at Del Monte runs, you know, the butter lettuce division or something like that, isn't like, oh my god, we're getting crushed in these kale sales. We gotta go, you know, we gotta do something about it. They send out like one sleeper agent. You know, one influencer gets paid 10 grand and goes, kale tastes like a garbage bag, and all of a sudden, it spreads, dude. Everyone's using influencers to promote positivity right now, you know? Hey, if you like our product, we'll pay you to do a video on it or something like that. Here you go. That's old school, dude. You gotta get into some compromise. How about, you know... You are, here's what PUBG should have done, really. Instead of sponsoring people to play the mobile version of the game, what you should do is pay, big streamers like 4 figures, and then they go on stream and go, Fortnite's for babies. Fortnite stinks. And this is why, if I ever leave the YouTube industry, I never want to work in PR. Not because the things I say will be used against me, but more because I have these amazing ideas, and I don't know, it's like no one man should have all that power, right? It's everybody's backup plan in this industry. Talk to the average streamer YouTuber, at least on the gaming side of things. What do you do if in like 3 years your YouTube channel's not doing that hot anymore? I'll just move into PR. I'll just move into community management or something like that. How many community management jobs are out there? Secondly, if you're watching this is going to be a very small subset of people watching. Dang, that sucks. I apologize that's the backup plan for so many YouTubers, okay? Because, like, it must be insulting if you ever hear people say that. PR, you can get an undergraduate degree in PR. Oh, dude, sign me up. Not for the undergrad in PR, you know, it's not really my scene. And people are like, you know, I've got a lot of experience ignoring emails. I think I'd make a good PR person. Or I think I'd be good at community management. I've taken a lot of negative comments in my day. Guppy, Leviathan. Should probably never refer to somebody else's career as your backup plan. Not that you'd do it to someone else's face. Meanwhile, I'm like Galaxy Brain over here. What am I gonna do if YouTube and Twitch become untenable? Be the world's oldest junior engineer at a company that will probably work me way too hard, proportional to my age bracket. If they'll even hire me in the first place because of the rampant ageism in the tech industry. Idiots. Get with the program. YouTube's weird, dude. It's like the world's best, and now we're getting inside baseball, but in a much more relatable fashion. It's the world's best dead-end job. And I don't mean that to sound negative. It's like the world's second best dead-end job. Because, like, don't take this the wrong way, being a professional athlete is also a dead-end job. In the same way that, dare I say, and bring it back a little bit, being on the top of a mountain is a dead-end climb. You know, once you're at the top of the mountain, you're at the top of Everest. There's no place higher to go. You know, you've hit it. All you can do from that point is backslide. You know, once you finish being an athlete, don't take us the wrong way, but for the most part, it's all downhill from there. Now, you might LeBron James yourself into being a part owner of a Blaze Pizza or something like that, but in all likelihood, you know, that's the pinnacle of your success by conventional means. YouTube is like, I kind of feel like it's the same way. And I know when I say it's a dead-end job, don't take it in a negative way. Because I definitely do not mean that it's a bad job. Obviously, there's incredible perks to doing it. But when you look at it compared to a traditional career path, and of course nothing's set in stone for a traditional career path either, but, you know, you kind of... There's no room for upward momentum. I mean, the upward mobility is really caused by your own, you know, little element of luck combined with your own tenacity and work ethic and etc., and as well as the whims of the public and, you know, getting lucky on a couple series, I guess, is really what it comes down to. But it's not like when you're going to be 40. I'm not saying the YouTuber's resume is going to be bad, by the way. You get a lot of soft skills. The reason I'm going to computer science classes at first was because of a deep-seated anxiety. It's trash. Deep-seated anxiety that one day the whole YouTube and Twitch thing is going to collapse. I should be realistic and use some of my free time to pay it forward so that if it ever does, I have an easier time in my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, etc. as a result of, you know, taking the initiative as a relative youngster to do something I'm interested in that also has, you know, career prospects. But anyway, that's like very self-serving and not even where I wanted to go with this. We definitely have Guppy or the Mulligan. We have 9 lives and Guppy's head, so we probably have Guppy. The reason I take them now is just because it's enjoyable. And, you know, for the most part, when I go to class, I'm like, this is my leisure time, and I have a fun time doing it. I don't necessarily think a YouTuber's resume is that bad. If you got... I mean, for me personally, at the very least, I think I've demonstrated a pretty good ability to show up. Could be like, I don't even want to talk about the soft stuff, like, well, it's like running your own, I ran my own business with an audience of thousands and maintained brand integrity and blah, blah, you know, that stuff, I don't know. That's really up to how well you can BS during the interview, in my opinion. But, you know, I could be like, hey, here's like 10,000 hours of my work record. So, you know, if you hire me, I'm not just going to sit around on my butt. That's my soft skill right there. I don't know. I do wonder, like, as a YouTuber, what gives me anxiety, and it's so weird, is the idea. This is like, you know, really, for all of you out here working a normal job, this is the video that you should be watching, where I make you feel better, instead of the average YouTube video where I'm like, I woke up at 11 today. You know, it's more like, if you guys are working in a career that you're, like, excited about, which I am as well, don't get me wrong. I love doing this, actually. I don't think there's any way you could play like 2,500 hours of this freaking game if you didn't. But your prospects are better at 40 than they are right now, unless you're already 40, in which case, by definition, they're the same, I suppose. But I don't think that's true for YouTubers. I think the prospects, I'm not necessarily going to say they're worse, but probably will be for most of them. Like, you know, if you're like Jake Paul right now, you can't realistically look at it and say, okay, I've got like record-breaking numbers right now. Imagine how high they'll be in 20 years. Nah, like the abs are probably gonna fade, and, you know, I'm sorry, but like, don't take this the wrong way, but 40-year-old people don't want to watch Jake Paul. There's always gonna be a new generation of kids coming up, and there's nothing wrong with that kind of content. But those kids also don't want to watch a 40-year-old, you know, they want to watch a 14-year-old. I think. That's my theory on it, at least. It's weird. Again, I'm certainly not trying to be negative about it. This is just stuff that's on my mind, you know, and I sit here and, if you do like one 15-minute video a day, stuff like this never comes up. If you do 4 45-minute long videos a day, all of a sudden you get into these meditative moments where I'm just being honest about the situation. It's kind of a dead-end job. It's a good dead-end job. It's not like, you know, working at a plastic bag factory or something like that, which, I don't know, maybe there's room for movement there, which might make it slightly different. And, you know, you always have to be careful. I tried to make up a job because I don't want to offend anybody, of course. Everyone's at a different spot in their lives. I worked some crap jobs in my life, and just because you're there now doesn't mean you'll be there forever. But let's take algaes, honestly. Missing those has been pretty kind to us, but algaes for a little safety is probably good. I honestly, like, I don't know, man. I look at other YouTubers. If you're making like 7 figures on YouTube and you don't have a backup plan, just save your money. You're set, dude. When I look at people that make like the average salary on YouTube and I go, what's your backup plan? And they're like, I don't really have one. I'm like, how do you sleep? Maybe you've got the right attitude, you know, sit back and, you know, goose fraba, relax, enjoy life a little bit. But I'm like, how do you sleep at night? What if things go wrong? You're gonna be like 40. You gotta have a way out. You gotta have something to pivot to. You know, invest in yourself. It's genuinely, I think, kind of anxiety inducing. I'm a little, and it's just self-serving to say this. I didn't realize we had full spirit hearts. I'm a little jealous. It's not like I'm losing sleep. Like, ever since I got that Philips wake-up light. Make sure to sign up for audible.com/Philips to get 1 month off your free trial. My sleep schedule's been good. I've been sleeping like a freaking baby, waking up when I want to wake up, and honestly feeling a little bit more refreshed, if I dare say so myself. But that's the kind of thing. Once a month. That's really, I invest, you know, 6 hours a week in my studies, and as a result, I get 2 more restful nights of not tossing and turning in bed, going like, what am I gonna do when I'm 50 years old? Again, I don't want to frame it like I'm in distress. It's not the case at all. I'm mostly playing it up. Like, I'm very happy with where I'm at, but not happy enough to go fight the Hush. That'll be a sub-goal. But, no, I don't know, man. Not everybody's in the same boat, I guess. Maybe I'm the one being irrational, or maybe I'm gonna look like a freaking genius when I'm working a button-up 9-to-5 job after the next adpocalypse. I don't know if I've ever seen Missing No, like, leave us with this little damage before. And trust me, not complaining. Mom's knife, sad bombs, and 24 minutes in, we're on the cathedral. It's a lovely position to be in. But 3.95 damage, I'm just like, no transformations except Guppy and Leviathan? I guess the only one that I'd be looking for there is Spun, but still. Anyway, again, the more I say that everything's fine, I think the more people are like, well, if things were terrible, that's what you would say. But it's really the honest to goodness truth, which is also probably what I would say if it weren't, but you just have to accept that we're like 3 derivatives past the truth right now at this point, so you gotta believe me. 'Cause I would do anything for love. Sorry, a little meatloaf kick recently. Like both the food and the man. I have been eating more meatloaf lately. I'm not gonna say meatloaf's coming back. Like, and then this time I'm talking about the food. The man that never left. But, I think there's like a hipster food epidemiology chart. It's like in Brooklyn or Portland, Oregon, hipster foods start to, you know, they're like, well, what if we took like a pot pie and we made it bougie? You know what? Here's what you do. You take out the olives and you put in, or not olives, sorry. You take out the onions and you put in shallots. All of a sudden, and then, I don't know, now like, the places here, they all serve something called tobacco onions. I have no idea what it means, but I'll admit, I'm a sucker, you know? As soon as I saw that it said tobacco onions, I looked at Kate and I say, oh my god, it's got tobacco onions in it. I wonder what I got. Yeah, I'll take that. I still don't know what a tobacco onion is. It tasted a lot like a fried onion to me, but it goes like Brooklyn or Portland, Oregon, or San Francisco. Then it goes Los Angeles, Seattle, any of the other hipster cities it missed on route. Then it makes it up to Vancouver. From Vancouver, you know, instantaneously we transfer it over to Toronto. I just have to get one up on one of our main intra-national rivals, if you don't mind me saying so. And then 40 or 50 years later, it makes its way to Alberta. I'm sorry, but our provinces have a rivalry right now. It had to be done. It's all in good nature. Okay? It's all... We're all friends until, like, the 2019 election, right? And then we can get into the bad blood, and then, you know, a couple of years of relative complacency and everything's good. So, Holy Light is really our ace in the hole right here. It's doing great work. Very happy to see it. So meatloaf's popping off here. That's what I was talking about. Seeing a lot more meatloaf. And it's great. Meatloaf is such a good meal. Great meal, terrible name. Meat pie, fantastic name. It conjures the image of a crust. Conjures the image of a, you know, you crack through that crust with your fork. You get the nice steam that comes out of it, and you can dip whatever your side is in the sauce that's inside of the pie. Delicious. Meatloaf sounds like something went wrong at the bread factory. Like, Jeremy from accounting accidentally fell in the grinder, and all of a sudden, instead of a normal loaf of bread, you got a meat loaf of bread. It's like when you eat it, it tastes like iron. It needs a new name, dude. For its own marketing's sake. This is a fast run, but I had a great time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.